Are you seeing what I'm seeing? It looks like we might pass Cocytus and move on to the next stage, better known as Heaven. But first, let's go ahead and celebrate the new slime being released. I thought that it's a prime time for a new updated Ultimate Build Guide video, considering everyone's been getting tons of additional resources lately. So I'm sure you're definitely wondering what the current ultimate build is. But speaking of new slimes, don't forget, if you haven't unlocked the new slime Love Cat yet, to quickly post your invite codes in the comment section below for them to be used. If you are a subscriber, I'll randomly pin your comments for your code to get used quicker, and join our Discord server with over 5,500 members, linked in the comment and description box below, to share your codes in the codes channel there as well. That way you definitely won't miss out on the new free slime before it's too late to unlock them. As for the daily login slime known as Happy, they don't look all that amazing, but that's not the primary concern we have with free slimes. All we want are those juicy owned effect bonuses. The first 4 on Happy are just gold obtained, which isn't really all that important, but the level 100 bonus, which does provide us 100% attack, is what really makes us happy. Even though it's an approximate 5% boost in damage, I'll take every little boost we can get. But that's not all. Don't you ever forget how good slime promotions are. Prior to any slime promotions, we were at 655 AB attack. Our first promotion got us to 819 AB attack, the next to 983 AB attack, and for our final promotion, this brought us to 1.44 AC attack. We finally broke the AB attack barrier. We are now at AC attack, but is that enough to move us from Cocytus 3 all the way to Heaven? Well, let's find out. We're going to jump right into a stage boss battle, and I can tell you that things are looking very good. Stage 10-7 was an absolute breeze. The same goes for stages 10-8 and 10-9, but as we move on to Cocytus 3, stage 10-10, things are definitely looking tighter. But you know the saying, when there's a will, there's a way, and I know all of you want us to reach Heaven, and that's exactly what's happening. After months and months of playing, we finally achieved Heaven. It looks like once you reach AC damage, you're going to have very high odds of reaching the stage, so once you get to this point, you know exactly what to expect. Now, whenever we reach a new stage, I always love to do an updated build guide video, so let's do exactly that, giving you a much needed overview of what you should be prioritizing in your builds. That way you can squeeze out every bit of damage that you can. One of the most important focuses here will be on Astrology, since this is the first build guide video that we have that does put consideration on the new Astrology feature. There are a ton of hidden gems here that people will easily miss, so let's get right into it. First off, if you are a pay-to-win player, you should always be using Gent. Right now, because of his skill, which doubles damage on all enemies, there is no slime that could possibly compare. This is due to our main damage sources, which I'll cover with you momentarily. And for your ring, you should always be using a D rank metal ring for stage bosses. I'll cover why this is shortly, and your focus should be on companion and boss damage. And I'm sure you notice here I went with companion damage and just a little hint of boss damage. I'll explain why. But if you want perfect rings like the one you see here, you should check out the perfect ring glitch guide video that I have linked in the comment and description box below. I outline how to get a beautiful ring like this one. But going back to the ring stats, our primary goal is to have an even amount of companion damage and boss damage. This is because we get diminishing returns the moment one becomes higher than the other, because each additional percentage is technically worth a marginal amount less. So in my case, If I wanted an even superior ring, I would go for one more boss damage attribute on my ring. That way my companion damage would drop about 300% and my boss damage would go up that same amount, making them perfectly even as all things should be, resulting in my boss and companion damage being min-maxed as much as possible. And we want companion and boss damage mainly because it is our main source of damage. Companions are extremely strong, and our slime skills scale off their damage, including some of our relics, which we'll get into shortly. For toys, we use Gent, who is the current best slime. We want critical hit damage. Since the bonus is insanely high, it makes up for a fourth of our critical hit damage if we look at our slime stats. And as mentioned before, we want companion and boss damage, since it does boost all our other sources of damage. Gent does not need any skill damage on his toy, nor does Gent require his own exclusive toy, because his slime skill is extremely weak, only dealing 30% of companion damage. This makes him one of the most versatile slimes out there, as he can use any slime's toy. Now, moving on to skills, you should avoid skills like Meteor Swarm, as they have long casting times, but the skills you should use are as follows. Bird Strike is now a strong option due to Bluebird's 400% damage increase. This is from every bird companion you add, and the same goes for Rainy Day and Dark Clouds, where we get a slight boost from the effect, 300% companion attack when you do have Dark Clouds equipped. So these are all good considerations to make. Irradiating Comet is always going to be a good choice as well, and it does essentially reset the cooldown of one of our skills, allowing for continued damage. Rage is also another great choice. This is because it does boost our slime and companion attack speed due to the Relic Ruby, which I will show off in just a moment. And Reaper is a potentially great choice as well, and I'll explain why as we move on to treasures. For your other available skill slots, just choose the skills that are the strongest, usually legendary skills like Pyrokinesis, or epic skills like Detonative Slime. These are always great picks. Evil Spirit is also a great choice when partnered up with a level 200 Pearl Necklace, which I'll show shortly. But overall, your skills don't influence your damage enough to make them a primary concern. So even if you aren't being fully efficient with your choices, it really won't make or break your damage. Moving on to relics. For our bottle relic, I just use pottery, but it really doesn't matter. You can also use ancient coins, but ignoring these two, I do suggest all free-to-play players or even pay-to-win players who have survivability issues to use Slime Mucin. This is because the enemy movement speed will be dropped by 70%. You may not think this is influential, but the longer it takes for the enemy to reach you, the longer you have to put damage on them. Meaning if you die in one hit, that leaves you with plenty of time to deal additional DPS, allowing you to push farther. Now, Slime Mucin does require a snail companion, and you might believe that this will hurt your damage due to conflicts with frogs and frog vase. But if you use the Rainy Day node that adds a frog tag to a snail, you'll get all the benefits of both. So something to always consider when changing your build around is how Astrology can influence your synergies. Moving on from bottles, you should always use Ruby as your gem relic. This is because Ruby adds companions to Rage's ability, which we covered earlier, allowing your companions to deal even more damage, making this relic a must-have. Topaz is only good for the secret undead dungeon room, since it could help avoid the bored crowd issue. Otherwise, the other two gem relics are useless, with the exception of Opal being used in Slime Legion due to Slimy Press, and possibly a good option when it comes to the Fury Constellation being unlocked. Next up, we have our most important relic, Sparrow Figurine. If you aren't already using this relic, stop everything you're doing and equip it right now. I recommend equipping it with 4 bird companions. These are the lists of bird companions you can use. This is why we use a metal ring, as I mentioned earlier. It boosts the damage of the egg throws that the Sparrow figurine causes our companions to cast. So if you watch this battle, you can see that our companions are throwing hundreds of eggs. This makes up for the bulk of our damage, surprisingly. So if you aren't using this combination, you are doing yourself a major disservice. For your cushions, it doesn't matter too much what you choose. You can use either Chicken Cushion or Regal Pillow. If you are in the early game, use Pile of Coins and equip Magic Coin as one of your skills. And before you ask, yes, if you equip the Ancient Coin Relic, it will cast Magic Coin twice. One from the skill and one from the relic itself if you do have the skill equipped. So you'll cast Magic Coin twice with the additional damage bonus, making it honestly a very good early game option. For your necklace, if you struggle with HP, Sacred Necklace is honestly a no-brainer. It'll make it so you survive in most instances of the game. At least once you reach a little further into the mid-game, HP will cease to become such a major issue. Ruby Necklace is useless, so never use that. Friendship Necklace is fine for Slime Legion, but you'll get more use out of Sacred Necklace generally. But Pearl Necklace is the choice to make if you want to squeeze a little bit more damage out of your skills. However, at the end of the day, skills do have a minimal impact on your damage, so again, don't worry too much. Now, because we have so many birds in our build for Sparrow figurine, we use Birdie Mask to get even more damage, and the constellation bonus from Swift Bird should increase the Relic's effect even higher. This makes it a prime choice for damage. You could also use Slime Mask for survivability if you are having issues there, with Folksy Mask being another option that you can use. Play around with either of them to see which one allows you to survive the longest, especially if your HP is a primary concern over your damage at your current game stage. Kitsune Mask should only be used for Slime Legion if you're not struggling with HP, otherwise Birdie Mask is what we use for damage on stage bosses. Lastly, for our book Relic, Tome of Disorder has no competition. This requires no explanation at all, so just equip Tome of Disorder and enjoy the massive amount of damage it provides. Moving on to traits you want: attack, and more attack. There are no secrets here. Attack will give you the largest damage bonus. Companion damage is alright, but attack still leads supreme. And you want to strictly use 4 orange traits with either 1 purple or blue trait. I'm personally on Team Purple, having tested a blue trait for some time now. I absolutely despise how fragile it makes your health. The HP recovery from Vampire helps out so much more in dungeons like Slime Legion, which is exactly why I haven't locked in my blue trait. I'm going to reroll back into a purple trait, and if you want to get perfect traits like these easily, I suggest you check out our other trait glitch video in the description and comment box below. In that video, I showcase just how easy it is to glitch into perfect traits, so go ahead and check it out after this video. Just like traits, companions are fairly easy to choose from as well. There are 4 companion combinations that reign supreme right now, all providing around the same benefit. This is due to Astrology, allowing us to add different tags to different companions. You can run either 2 frogs and 3 birds, 4 birds and 1 frog, 4 birds and your strongest companion like the genie, or 4 birds and 1 snail, or even 3 birds, 1 snail, and 1 frog. These mixes work because we're able to add the bird tag to our first exotic frog, making him a viable replacement on our teams, adding a cat tag to the genie, which is generally going to be your strongest companion. This is from the Gentle Cat Zeta node, which gives him the cat constellation bonus, making that combination viable too. And as we discussed earlier, using a snail with a frog tag alongside slime mucin is a great option as well. So really you can go ahead and try out all these different combinations and see which one has the greatest benefit for you, because your companion levels do influence which option is the best here, so do play around to figure out which one is the best. Once you do, choose the companions with the adjusted tags from Astrology and then put them alongside your strongest companions. Most of you will have this build, 4 birds with 1 frog. In general, ebony will be one of your strongest birds, including white, and then your other companions will just vary. You can choose based on how high the attack value is. The higher the attack, the increased likelihood that you'll want to equip that companion, as long as it follows the companion team synergies we outlined earlier. Lastly, we're going to look at our treasures. For dolls, just put on Chick Doll since that'll likely give you the easiest damage increase. Only in the early game should you really consider using Plush Lycan, so just stick with Chick Doll for now and test either out just to be sure. Slime Doll is also a good option for Slime Legion, but not good for stage bosses right now. That is, unless you have the Fury constellation open. So do ignore that unless your Irradiating Comet level is at level 20, which is highly unlikely. Sun Crown is also the best here with no competition at all. You do not need a bad companion equipped for the 80% attack bonus. I always do mention this because most people do think you need bats equipped, but trust me, you do not. So make sure to equip Sun Crown for some easy damage. Next up, for Frog Vase, it should be the superior relic choice here. Whether you use frogs or a snail with the frog tag, it is one of our best options, so definitely don't forget to equip it. For your plant treasure, if you have enough health, go for Ancient Bonsai with Reaper as one of your skills. Otherwise, use Flexible Bamboo for some easy HP. And for your food treasure, Gold Bread is the only treasure you should be using for stage boss battles. Outside stage bosses, you can use Explosive Taco for that extremely marginal damage increase it provides, though I really doubt you'll be able to notice it. And lastly, for your armor, due to the current meta, Dwarf King armor reigns supreme. No other armor can honestly compare, as the meta is focused on attack, and the remaining armors can barely provide bonuses to compete, so stick with the 89% attack bonus we get here, and continue dealing tons of damage. This should briefly cover every aspect of the game. We do have dedicated videos that you can check out. And definitely don't forget to join our Discord server as well to help get those invite codes used so you get that beautiful new slime. We have over 5,500 community members and counting, so come join in on the fun. You can comment your invite codes on this video as well to get them used, and if you are subscribed, I'll pin your comments to help get your invite codes used faster. That was it for today's video. Drop a like if you enjoyed, and stay tuned for more Legend of Slime content like this. Enjoy!